Welcome to the Google Cloud Update for the week of December 18th, 2025. I'm your host, and we have a festive sleigh full of updates to unwrap just before the holidays. This week is absolutely packed across the board. We'll be diving deep into the world of AI with the preview of the powerful Gemini 3 Flash model on Vertex AI and major GA announcements for the Vertex AI Agent Engine. We'll then shift to data and analytics, where the BigQuery data transfer service is adding a ton of new connectors. And we're seeing new ways to interact with your databases using natural language with the new Data Agents feature. After that, we'll cover key updates in security, including the general availability of single-tenant Cloud HSMs and the VPC Service Control's Violation Analyzer. We'll also touch on new features in compute, networking, and a whole host of developer and ops tools that have received significant enhancements. It's a big week, so let's get right into it. All right, let's kick things off with the star of the show this week, artificial intelligence. First up, Vertex AI is getting a major upgrade. Gemini 3 Flash is now available in public preview. This model is designed for the most complex agentic tasks, boasting strong coding skills and state-of-the-art reasoning. If you're building sophisticated agents, this is one to watch. Speaking of agents, the Vertex AI Agent Engine has some huge news. First, sessions and memory bank are now generally available. This is a massive step for building stateful, intelligent agents. The engine has also expanded its regional availability to include Zurich, Milan, Hong Kong, Seoul, Jakarta, Toronto, and Sao Paulo. And there's a pricing update. While the Agent Engine runtime pricing has been lowered, be aware that starting January 28, 2026, usage for sessions, memory bank, and code execution will be billable. A couple more quick Vertex AI updates. Saving and sharing prompts in Vertex AI Studio is now easier than ever, as it no longer requires an administrator to enable the feature. And for those building with agents, the Cloud API registry is now in preview in the console, giving you a place to view and manage the MARCP servers and tools your agent has access to. Over in the Gemini enterprise space, admins can now view the pooled quota usage for their licenses and can enable Gemini 3 Flash for their users. And for those of you building with search, Vertex AI Search now allows you to filter searches by document-level relevance, which is a great new feature in public preview. Finally, a couple of quick AI hits. Gemini 2.5 Flash with the Gemini Live API for native audio is now generally available, bringing enhanced voice quality and proactive audio. And for our multilingual listeners, text-to-speech with Chirp 3 HD voices now supports Punjabi in preview. Following on from AI, let's talk about data and databases, where we're seeing AI blend directly into our data platforms. The most exciting preview is the new Data Agents feature. You can now build agents that interact with data in your databases using conversational language. This is available in preview for Cloud SQL for MySQL, Cloud SQL for PostgreSQL, and Spanner. It does require a sign-up, so check the docs to get started. Sticking with databases, AlloyDB has a couple of great updates. Managed connection pooling is now generally available, which is fantastic for optimizing resource usage and improving scalability. Also, performance snapshot reports now include a new SQL report section, listing your top 50 queries to help you optimize. And tying back to our first segment, you can now use the new Gemini 3.0 Flash model when calling generative AI functions in AlloyDB. Now, let's talk about BigQuery. The data transfer service is on a roll. First, the ability to transfer data from Oracle to BigQuery is now generally available. In preview, you can now also transfer data from new sources like Klaviyo and HubSpot. And perhaps most interestingly, you can now use the service to transfer data from blob storage sources, including Amazon S3 and Azure Blob Storage, directly into Big Lake Iceberg tables. This is a powerful feature for building multi-cloud data fabrics. On the storage side, you can now use Cloud Storage Anywhere, cache, to accelerate data reads for BigQuery. And You can generate storage insights data sets for activity data to get a better handle on object mutations and activity trends. Finally, a quick note for SAP users on the Cortex framework. The data mesh functionality has been deprecated. This is because Data Catalog is being replaced by the more advanced Dataplex Universal Catalog, and you're encouraged to migrate. Now for our infrastructure and compute segment. Starting with Cloud SQL, we have a major GA announcement. Enhanced backups are now generally available for MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server. This feature leverages the backup and DR service for centralized management, giving you enforced retention, granular scheduling, longer retention periods, and even point-in-time recovery after an instance has been deleted. This is a huge win for data protection. In that same vein, backup and DR now also supports customer-managed encryption keys for compute engine backups, and Google Cloud NetApp Volumes supports CMEK for backups as well. For our Oracle users, Oracle Database at Google Cloud has expanded its services to new zones in Montreal and Northern Virginia. In rare cases, a cluster control plane upgrade on autopilot can cause a node to enter a bad state where new pods can't run. GKE is working on mitigating this, but be sure to check the troubleshooting documentation if you see unreliable workload performance on a specific node. On a brighter note for autopilot, N4A machine types are now available in public preview. For serverless fans, Cloud Run has a new OS-only 24 runtime in preview. This lets you deploy Go applications from source, as well as binaries like Dart and Go. And a couple of quick hardware notes. For those using AI hypercomputer, be aware of a known firmware issue on A4 VMs with NVIDIA B200 GPUs. The recommendation is to reset the GPUs at least once every 60 days. And for SAP HANA users, SAP has certified the 6, 8, and 12 terabyte X4 bare metal machine types for scale-up workloads. Let's switch gears to security, which has a ton of generally available announcements this week. First, in Cloud KMS, single-tenant Cloud HSM is now generally available. This allows you to create and manage dedicated single-tenant HSM instances where Google manages the hardware, but you have full administrative control. This is available in US Central 1, US East 4, and Europe West 1 and 4. In Security Command Center, 2 container threat detection detectors are now GA, one for piped encoded code execution and another for piped encoded downloads. Also, you can now configure Model Armor floor settings in preview to define baseline safety filters for your models. One of the biggest security GAs is for VPC service controls. The Violation Analyzer is now generally available. You can use it to diagnose access denial events with a comprehensive evaluation report, edit ingress and egress rules directly from the troubleshooting page, and you no longer need to enable the Policy Troubleshooter API to use it. This makes debugging service perimeters so much easier. For sensitive data protection, there's a new info type detector in preview that can identify a person or face within an object. And for our government and regulated industry customers, Assured Workloads has expanded the data boundary for CJIS to support a long list of new products, including Vertex AI, Security Command Center Premium, and VM Manager. Finally, let's talk about IAM. There are a massive number of new permissions for Google Security Operations, also known as Chronicle, giving admins and editors incredibly granular control over the SOAR platform. We're talking hundreds of permissions. If you manage Chronicle, you'll want to review these. On a smaller scale, roles for Vertex AI RAG, API Hub, and Customer Engagement Suite also received new permissions. And a nice quality of life update, you can now get predefined role suggestions from Gemini in the console without enabling any extra APIs. Rounding out our updates, let's look at developer tools, operations, and networking. For our Apache Airflow users, Cloud Composer 3 now has extra large environments in general availability. This new preset can support environments with up to several thousand DAGs. There's a great new story around application-centric observability. Your application monitoring dashboards in Cloud Monitoring now display the trace spans associated with your registered App Hub applications. And conversely, the Trace Explorer has been updated with annotations that let you identify those App Hub services and workloads and link directly back to their dashboards. To support this, App Hub is also now available in the Stockholm region. A few more developer updates. Artifact Registry can now automatically scan your Java, Python, and Node.js packages for vulnerabilities when you push them. In data form, Strict Act as mode is now GA, improving the security of your workflow executions. And Document AI now has a monitoring dashboard and preview. On the networking front, custom IP address ranges for Cloud Interconnect are now generally available. And an important security change for global external and classic application load balancers, they will now reject requests with non-RFC compliant methods at the Google front-end layer, which may cause you to see a small decrease in certain error rates. Finally, for those using Service Mesh, a regional version of Cloud Service Mesh is now available in public preview. And that was a lot. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From the powerful new Gemini 3 Flash model and GA for the Agent Engine to GA for enhanced Cloud SQL backups and single-tenant HSMs, there is a ton to dig into. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.